Welcome to 5 Steps to Boost Your Prosperity Mindset. I'm Stephanie Kakris, and I'm really excited to show you what I know, to teach you what I know about the law of attraction and about manifesting, and in particular about manifesting money, because money is quite a complex phenomenon and most of us would like to have more of it. And in my opinion, you can't hear this information enough. I ran this, most of you will know that I ran this training a couple of nights ago, and unfortunately the recording didn't work. And I thought, well, I'll run it again rather than me talking to a blank screen. I'll run it again and have a few people on, and guessing that the universe wants me to hear this information spoken over again, because there's nothing quite like teaching it in order to learn it ourselves. So that's a bit about me. So this training is for you if you are searching for a new money paradigm in your life. If you're tired of not feeling like you deserve money or success. I know that there are a lot of people out there that have this kind of underlying self-worth issue where they don't feel like they really deserve success or abundance. And it's certainly something that I can relate to and that I've worked on myself over the years and continue to work on, if I'm honest. Being exhausted from working really hard and not really getting ahead. Or if you believe that when you change from within, your external reality changes. So that's what my philosophy is all about. It's about if we change our own energy from within, then things manifest in our lives, our external world changes. And I've seen it happen with my clients over and over again. And to me, there's a real power in doing that. We often focus on external matters. What do we need to be doing differently, in our business or in our jobs, or do we need more study? Do we need more training? And sometimes, yes, that's the case, but it's often ourselves that we need to shift as well. So we need to have a combination of both. So that's sort of my specialty. So this training is not for you if you are looking for a get rich quick scheme. I can't even say it. There are a lot of people out there teaching schemes about getting rich quickly. And that's not what this is about. I believe that that's possible, but I also believe that the law of attraction and manifesting and having positive experiences in your life is an ongoing journey. If you are not willing to look within to make a change, if you're sort of in a victim mentality and you're blaming sort of the external world for your circumstances, then this training is probably not for you unless you're open-minded to changing that. So it's also not for you if you are fixed in your ways and not open to new possibilities of doing life. And I know that I'm preaching to the converted here, but it's really nice to get clarity on expectations with anything that we do. So that's why I popped that in there. So for those of you who don't know me, just a very brief introduction. I have known since I was a teenager that I wanted to be in a position to help other people. People would naturally come to me at school and talk to me about their problems, and I was kind of the pseudo counselor for some of my friends, and I really enjoyed being there for them in those times. However, and I was really interested in psychology and human behaviour. However, I didn't really fancy being a clinical psychologist sitting in a room with clinically depressed and anxious people. To see them all day, every day didn't really float my boat. So I decided to marry my love of sport. I was an elite athlete when I was a junior, and I loved sport. And, I loved the idea of assisting people to get the best out of themselves. So I went to uni, I studied psychology, I did a Bachelor of Science, I went on to do a Master's in Sports Psychology, but unfortunately at university I did not learn the skills and the information that I needed for myself in order to go out there and really make a difference with athletes and, to get the best out of people. So I ended up at the end of uni, during my Masters especially, I was very ill. I had chronic fatigue, I had chronic anxiety, I had all sorts of digestive problems. And looking back now, I can see that that's because it was out of sync with my own vibration. The vibrational energy of uni didn't match my own vibration. So I struggled and I worked for free with elite athletes mostly for free. I did do some paid work, but mostly I worked for free to try and get my name out there, get myself into the industry. But I didn't get very far. And I did some other jobs on the side just to earn some money in the meantime. And then I found a company called Beyond Success, who are specialists in personal development. And my husband signed he and I up to do their life coach training program. And it was just amazing. It was like a light bulb went on. They talked about all the things that I didn't learn in university. We were taught about emotions. We were taught about spirituality. We were taught about the law of attraction. We were taught about all these things about building a business as well. At uni, I never learned anything about building an actual business. And then I loved their philosophy and training so much that I actually went on to train their life coach course for a number of years. And I've only just stopped doing that about 2 years ago. And I loved training other people to be life coaches. But I've continued to have my own personal struggles, and I have continued to read about spirituality and about the law of attraction. And I've really spent pretty much 8 solid years now learning about the law of attraction and about how we can marry spirituality and science to get to where we want to be in life. So I'm going to share a little bit about that, what I've learned with you today. This is my beautiful family. I have 2 kids who are my world, and a beautiful husband, Pete. And my mission is to open people's eyes to the magic of the universe and the law of infinite potential so they may create their own wonderful reality, and in doing so, show the way for others to do the same. So ultimately, I have this idealistic sort of vision that we can all live in a world full of love and harmony. And whilst, if you were to connect with the news and watch TV every day and see all the horrible things that are going on in the world, you would think that we're a long way off living in love and harmony. But what I choose to look at and focus on myself is, all the loving people that are out there. And I find most people are extremely generous and kind and helpful. And, they're the people that I choose to focus on. And that's the kind of person I choose to be myself, so that I give others permission to do the same. Just give me 1 second. Today, what I'm going to share with you in terms of money and manifesting is just the tip of the iceberg of what I know. And at the end of the session, I'm going to invite you to a course that I'm putting on specifically about manifesting money, where you'll be able to learn step by step a lot more of what I know, but it's also a self-reflection course. So you'll be able to actually do all the activities and think about your own money beliefs and how you can shift them. So I'll be doing that at the end. So what about you? One thing that I really like everyone to connect with when they're learning this kind of material is, what is one thing that you would like to do when you manifest a lot more money? So, or what would you like to have? What would you like to do more of in terms of, fun, freedom, travel, something really specific? And just while you're typing that into the chat box, the other night I had a couple of people who really wanted to do more charity work. If they had more money for themselves, then they would spend some time overseas helping other less fortunate people. And that is definitely something that personally motivates me in terms of earning more money, because I'm not particularly interested in having a huge fortune. But what I am interested in is earning more money so that I can help other people and who might not have the money or the resources to learn this stuff. And I can go out there and teach them at an affordable price or for free in the future. So, someone said that they would love to own their own home. That's definitely on a lot of people's wish list, is to pay off their mortgage, spend more time with their partner. Fantastic. Write a book. Yeah, a lot of people would love to write a book and definitely travel and ride my bike in exotic locations. Wonderful. Now, when some people think about having a lot of money, they think about, you know, they would just love to do nothing and just sit on a beach and just chill and relax and do nothing. And I reckon that'd be interesting for about 5 minutes, and then most people would start wondering what else they can do to be a contribution to the world, because that's really what gives us the most satisfaction, is to be of contribution to the world. So I decided for this webinar for something different. I've not done this before, that I would do a group card reading with some guidance for everyone watching this call tonight or today, and also watching the recording. So I sat down the other day and I chose 3 cards from 2 of my card decks, and I'll just have a sip of my tea. Actually, I'll show you the cards to have a look at, and then I'll have a sip of my tea. So this is the first deck. It's the Energy Oracle cards by Sandra Ann Taylor. It's absolutely beautiful deck. And the cards can, the front of each card is symmetrical, so you don't know if it's upside down or the right way up, and that each card has a different message depending on which way they come out when you turn them over. So the 3 cards that I pulled for the group card reading from the Energy card deck was All Tied Up, was the first one, and then the Angel of Strength in reverse, and then Woman Holding a Heart was the third one. And I'll just have a quick drink so my mouth doesn't get too dry, and I'll tell you what I interpret them to mean. So the first one is about feeling restricted and lack of freedom. And so my sense is that there are a lot of people who've been live on the call, and also who are going to watch the recording, who feel like there's a sense of restriction and lack of freedom around money. And then the second card is Angel of Strength, and that's actually a really positive card. It's about feeling like you're full of power and strength, but because it came out in reverse, which means that when I turned it over, it was upside down, then it's a signal that at the moment you're feeling a lack of power, a lack of personal power in a specific area of your life. And given that we're talking about money, both of those cards are really powerful signs that we're feeling, and I think as a collective, a lot of people are feeling, a powerlessness and a lack of freedom around manifesting money. And the third card is a Woman Holding a Heart. And I wasn't sure what that card meant at first, but there's two possible meanings that I could find. And the first one was that we're being called to embrace a more feminine balance to making money. So in the past, and I'll talk about this again in a minute, in the past, or in the last sort of 100 years in particular, there has been like a masculine energy dominance in terms of making money. And there's no, masculine and feminine are both have their strengths and weaknesses. So I'm not trying to say that the feminine side of things is the better side. It's just that it's been out of balance. The feminine side has been sort of lower, I guess, and the masculine side's been dominant. So I feel like we're being called to embrace a more balanced perspective about money, and I'll talk a little bit more specifically about that in a minute. The other thing that came to me, which I had a little giggle about because I didn't want to admit it, was that for me, being a woman and being, someone who's very heart-centered and loving in terms of, to me, everything can be healed with love. That's sort of one of my philosophies. Then you found me and you're on this call for a reason, that I can give you some guidance around shifting the energy around money. So that was the card reading for the energy cards. Then the second card deck that I have is has been channeled and created by a very good friend of mine who's a medical intuitive called Julie Lewin, and her modality is called Arakira. And each of her card has 7 sets of cards that each talk to a different energy body, and they're very cool cards. So the 3 that I chose for tonight, so-called randomly, or for today, are the Spiritual Body card, which is the main card for the spiritual body, which is about connecting to your true nature. The middle card is Bodily, and it's about being conscious in your body. And then the third card is Real, which is what you see, feel, or touch, and your imagination is real. So these cards are a beautiful illustration of the balance between being the vibration, being in the right mindset in order to manifest money. So the spiritual body is about connecting to our true spirit, is that we deserve to have everything. The universe is actually trying to throw all abundance at us. And it's our ego, it's our sort of earthly human experience that can often block that abundance from coming. So it's really important to connect with your true spiritual nature when it comes to manifesting. The second one is about our body, and it's about being conscious in the body. And I think these two cards are a really beautiful illustration of the being versus the doing. So we do need to take action because we are human. We are living this human existence. And yes, you know, you can spend days manifesting and journaling and writing out your goals and doing what it is that you really want. But you also need to demonstrate to the universe that you're prepared to take some action to do so. So that's about using your body to actually do things to manifest. Then the third one is about real, and it's saying that there's reality goes across different dimensions. So everything that we see, feel and touch and taste and smell and all the things that our senses are aware of are real, but everything that's in our imagination is also real. So when I'm in the next slide, I'm about to talk to you about how the law of attraction works. But basically, if you can imagine it, then it can come into reality. So it's real in our dreams first, and then the next step is to create it to be real with our physical senses. So just to get some feedback from you again, which of those cards really resonates with you? So I'll just go back to that one. So we had the all tied up and the angel of strength being in reverse, which are both about lack of freedom and powerlessness and lack of personal strength around money. Then there's the woman holding a heart, which is about, you know, let's turn to love and let's turn to our feminine side to help manifest money. And then Julie's ones, which were the spiritual body, about connecting to your spirit, about taking appropriate action, and then about your imagination. So just type into the chat box which of those 6 cards, or, you know, can be more than one, really resonated with you in terms of that message. Yep, okay, the sense of powerlessness. Yep, it's yeah, it can get to a point where we feel like we're doing everything that we possibly can to manifest more money and nothing shows up. Definitely. Yep, so focusing on minimizing expenses when not earning income and focusing on the lack, and so therefore feeling all tied up and a lack of freedom with that. Great. The spiritual body and the real. Awesome. For someone else. Thanks, everyone. So this is the way that I like to explain law of attraction. So the quantum physics sort of branch of science has been saying for a long time. Einstein said it, and there have been people that have said it a long time before that. And now with electron microscopes, and we've got really powerful ways to measure energy, it's pretty much common knowledge now that everything is a lot more energy than it is matter. So this chair that I'm sitting on, the table in front of me, the ground, my physical body is made up a lot more of energy than it is actual molecules. So if you think about an atom, you've got the molecules that are vibrating really quickly, but the actual molecules within the atom are only like 0.001% of the actual atom itself. It's just because they're vibrating so much that everything is made up primarily of energy. One step on from there is that money is also energy. Things that we can imagine in our imagination, our dreams, they're made up of energy. Our emotions are energy. Colours are made up of different energy. So if you just take the feel that everything is energy and everything is vibrating at a specific rate. So I've got a photo of tuning forks here. So if you can imagine that your dream of, which might be manifesting money or it might be something else, has a specific vibration that is like, let's just say the tuning fork has the note D. So if I hold the tuning fork up with the note D and I sing the note C, then the tuning fork doesn't resonate, it doesn't vibrate, it just sits there and does nothing. However, if I sing that exact note D and the tuning fork is a D, then resonance occurs and the tuning fork starts to vibrate and make a sound. So it's the same with the law of attraction. So when you've got a dream or a goal in mind, something that you really want, when your personal energy, your spiritual energy and your bodily energy is vibrating at that same level as your goal, then the goal will come to life. That's the way the law of attraction works. And there's a beautiful quote by Einstein that I love, which says that when you personally vibrate at that same level as what it is that you want to manifest, it will turn up. And that's not spirituality, that's not woo-woo, that's nothing, that's actually physics. So the other law that I talk about is the law of infinite potential. So anything is actually possible in our world. Anything can happen. And, things can turn around really quickly if we change our energy. And, the unthinkable can happen at any time. And it's really important when you're thinking about manifesting to put aside all the beliefs around what's happened before, what's happened in your life up to this point, and say, well, actually, I can turn it all around, and it's possible that it can turn around tomorrow, and just keep that as an open mind about what might happen. The other thing that I'm not an expert in, but I've read about, is that the Earth's vibration is shifting. So there's this thing called the Schumann resonance, which measures the Earth's magnetic vibration. And for thousands and thousands of years, it's been at 7.83 hertz. Thousands of years, like as long back as they can sort of, not that they've measured it a long way back, but they've measured, they can see, from seismic activity and from other ways that they've measured it. It's been 7.83, very constant, maybe even millions of years, for a long time anyway. And since 2014, the resonance has started spiking, and at times it's got up to 36 hertz. So it's a huge jump in our vibration. And as humans inhabiting this earth, we are sensing that vibration. And a lot of people who are tuned in are having vertigo and dizzy spells and feeling like a buzzing within their body and emotional upheavals and all sorts of things, because their bodies are having trouble dealing with this shift. But what I'm told from, really spiritual people who understand this at a greater level than I do, is that we're being called to embrace a new way of living, and we're moving from a 3D paradigm, which is basically the physical, touch, see, feel, sense, and grounded in the ego and in the reality of the earth and what we've sort of known to now, up into 5D paradigms, which is a much more spiritual, flow, gentle way of living, loving way of living. And so we've been called to forge a new path. And that's one thing that motivates me is, money is such a powerful force in our planet. And, it's the cause of a lot of conflict, a lot of wars are all around money. A lot of, the media are in play, and the government, because, they're trying to protect their fortunes and trying to protect their interests around money. So that's one of the reasons why I'm really passionate about teaching this stuff. So in terms of the old 3D paradigm around money, we're moving from a philosophy of where we're competing with each other for money, like so that there's finite resources and we're all in a competition. And the new paradigm that we're moving towards is where there's cooperation. So the more we can work together, the better that we'll all be, rather than competing against another person. The other old one is sacrifice, and where pain is linked to a reward. So the harder you work and the more that you put in, the more you'll get back. And the new paradigm's moving towards, let's earn money doing what we love and what we're really good at, and do it with flow and ease rather than, it just being a hard and struggle and painful. And then the other one is that there's a finite amount to go around, and, moving towards there's unlimited abundance available. So, there's no limits to what we can manifest and what we can have. Now, my own dad, said, I heard him say recently, and, when he said it, it reminded me how he used to say it when I was young, and it was a really interesting moment that got me to realise, the kind of philosophy that I'd been brought up with. He was talking about someone who was earning around about $300,000 or $400,000 a year in a corporate position, and he just shook his head and he said, "Oh my God, that's criminal that someone would be paid that amount of money." And, he was quite horrified. And that comes from a perception of the more money that executives earn, the less money there is for, working class people or people in lower paid jobs. And, that's very much been a philosophy that's been embraced by a lot of people. So, really interesting stuff. So that's my goal of this training, is to help shift into those new paradigms and belief systems. So the next obvious question is, how do I match my own personal vibrational frequency to my dreams, to what it is that I want to manifest? And that's exactly what I'm going to share with you right now. So the first one is to be open to all possibilities, to expect the unexpected, and to allow the universe to figure out the details. So it's our job to figure out what we want, and then it's the universe's job to figure out how it's going to happen. So it's our job to figure out what we want and to take action. I should clarify that, to take some action there. But the universe might give us the money in a different way. So even though, let's just say for me, for my business, I'm running this webinar and I'm taking action to promote my course, and I'm doing discovery calls with clients who might want some one-on-one coaching, and I'm promoting myself. So I'm taking these actions in order to manifest more money. But the universe might have a different idea in store for me. It might, send me some inheritance money from an uncle, or it might, I might get a tax lotto windfall, or it might be a windfall from another business that I've got shares in, or something like that. So it's not up to me to work out the how, only the what. So for you guys, it's really important to be open to all possibilities when you're manifesting, and just be gentle about, rather than having that voice in your head as if to say, well, that's never happened for me before. How the hell is that going to happen? Just say, well, it might not happen, but then again, it just might too. So this is an example of an unexpected success story. So this is Carolyn. And when Carolyn did my money manifesting course about a year or so ago, she decided that they were going to sell their last investment property. They were open to all possibilities. They just decided that they would ask for a valuation and put it on the market without any marketing, just see what happened. So the real estate agent said to them, and a few of their friends said to them, look, it's just before Christmas. It's a really bad time to sell. It's probably not the right time to put it on the market. But they thought, nah, we feel it's the right time. We're going to do it anyway. The agent was going overseas on a holiday a week or two after they put it on the market, and he was not keen to sell at that point. He was trying to get them to wait until the new year. And basically they sold the property within a week for $15,000 more than the top price that they thought they'd get. They did no advertising or marketing. The buyer just turned up. It was a cash sale, so there wasn't any issues with finance or anything like that. And the buyer was also thrilled with his purchase. So that's just a really beautiful example of a win-win-win outcome, and of just putting something out there and seeing what might happen. So the second thing that I really encourage people to do on a regular basis is to practice gratitude. So being grateful for what you actually do have will attract more. And Dr. John Demartini is one of my mentors and someone that I love listening to. And he alerted me to the fact about the word appreciation. So to appreciate something means to be thankful for it. But the word appreciate also means to grow. Like if you've got money in an account with interest-bearing account, then it's appreciating. So, you know, that's not a coincidence that when we appreciate things, that we'll get more things to appreciate, although they will appreciate. So what I recommend with gratitude is that you keep a little journal, it can be a 50-cent exercise book next to your bed at night, and to just write down 2 or 3 things that you're grateful for in your life that day. And then when you wake up in the morning, open the book and read those things again. Because when we focus on what we do want and what we do have already, then we can attract more of the same. But our culture, we're bombarded with the media, with messages that we need this to be happy, we need more, we need to, grow, we need to have a bigger house as we work, we need to do renovations, we need to have everything bigger, better. And so, we can get sucked into that I don't have enough mentality, when in actual fact we stop and we miss out on what we've got in the here and now. So I highly recommend that, if you take nothing else out of this training today, that's the one thing that I want you to think about and focus on more, because it's the most important thing. So this is a lovely client of mine, Sheena, and she came to me in a little bit of a negative rush. She was really dissatisfied with her life, with her relationship, with her business, with a whole lot of things. She lives on a big cattle station in Queensland, and they raise cows. And when after a couple of sessions, I talked to her about gratitude and about focusing on what she does have. And because all she was really thinking about was where she would like to be and that she wasn't there yet. And she said to me, I said to her, okay, well, let's rewind 5 years. What were you and your husband's goals in 5 years' time? If we go back 5 years ago, what were your goals? And when she broke everything down, she realized that they had actually achieved everything that they possibly could have imagined and more 5 years ago. And it completely shifted her mindset and her, just the way she thinks about life. Like it was just a massive aha moment. She was like, oh my God, I actually have everything that I've ever wanted right now. And as a result, she's just so much happier. Their business has taken off, to a point where they could have never imagined since then. Things are really ticking over beautifully. Her kids are happy. The relationship, we've done some work on her relationship, has really blossomed. And yeah, sure, she's not without her challenges, and as we all are, but she's just feeling so much more content with life. And it's just a really beautiful story. So my third sort of tip in terms of changing your energy around manifesting money is to allow yourself to dream, to connect with what you will do with your money, and use your imagination to connect with it. So when we go into a meditation and we imagine what we want as if it's in the here and now, then that's actually altering our personal vibration, and it's raising the chances of it coming true. So for many of us, when we're younger, we actually are told not to have high expectations of things because we might be disappointed. So, often many of us sort of forget about dreaming. We forget about having high expectations, and we decide, well, I'll just let that go because I don't think that's ever going to happen, and I'm tired of being disappointed. So the importance of dreaming is to let go of the expectation and dream for the fun of dreaming, with a bit of a light-hearted approach to imagine if that did come true. Imagine how cool that would be, but not being attached to it coming true. That's the key to manifesting, is to really believe it and see it and want it, but with a light-heartedness approach, so that you can just yeah, allow yourself to play with it a bit rather than being really determined and chasing it. You know, a little bit like a stray cat. You know, if you want to pat the cat, you have to get down, you have to want it to pat you, you have to take some action to get it to come to you. But if you run at it, it will just run away. So I like to see goals as similar to a stray cat like that, where, you know, if you chase it, it will run away. So that's number 3. So the lovely Rod did my money manifesting course, and he decided, well, he didn't decide, he needed to find a home at very short notice. The rental property that he was in was being up for sale, or he, you know, whatever the case was, that he had to be out of there in a certain specific time. And despite looking around, him and his wife hadn't found an ideal property for them to move into. So he sat down and he got out a piece of paper and he allowed himself to dream, even though it seemed really unlikely. They only had 2 weeks left that they had to be out of their current home. They wanted to manifest a home that was within walking distance of the beach, an affordable rent, and some other specific requirements like how many bedrooms they needed, and that they needed a garage for their car, and that kind of stuff. And within a week, they found the home and their application was approved, and they basically moved in with 1 day to spare, so they didn't even have any rent overlap. And yeah, it was just a total miracle. And every day, you know, for about 3 weeks, he kept messaging me saying, "Oh my God, I cannot believe this house turned up." And in actual fact, that was 12 months ago, and they had to leave that house again because the owner was going to knock it down and build something new. And he's just manifested another home, which is just magnificent and even better than that one, in a short space of time. So yeah, just encourage you to allow yourself to dream, and again, to be open to all possibilities. So number 4 is to boost your self-worth. So it is important that you feel deserving of abundance, because when you don't feel deserving, that lowers your vibration, and therefore it doesn't help the money turn up. And if the money does turn up, then you're just likely to lose it in some other way as well. So it's not really great for building wealth. So it's important that you feel deserving of the money. So I recommend that you make a list of 100 reasons why you deserve to have more abundance. And this, you know, can stop some people in their tracks and say, "Oh my God, I could never think of 100 reasons why I deserve to have more abundance. I could maybe think of 3, and some people will even struggle to come up with 3. But it's about using your imagination. And if you can come up with half a dozen or reasons, it can be about talents that you have, gifts that you have, kind deeds you've done, how you're a good, loving person, you know, how you're a hard worker. It can be anything like that. And then once you've sort of exhausted all your own possibilities, then I would encourage you to go and ask your best friend, ask your partner, ask your mum, ask anyone who will give you a little hint about, just, you can say, "What do you like about me? Why are you my friend?" Or, you know, why do you think I'm a good person, or whatever. And see if you can add to that. And it doesn't all have to be done all in one go. It can be done over a period of time, but it's a really, really powerful exercise. So how would your life be different if you had a really strong sense of self-worth? So just type into the chat box while I have a quick drink and stop talking for a second. What would you do differently if you had a strong sense of self-worth? What would you go out and do tomorrow? Just imagine that you had all the confidence in the world. What would you go out and do tomorrow? Okay. Yep. Teach more people. Teach what I know. Excellent. Ask my boss for a pay rise. I love that. Yep. Just go and ask. Be open to all possibilities. Have no expectations. Just go and ask for a pay rise. Relax and deliver a powerful workshop. Awesome. Cool. There's some really good ones. So if you're watching this recording, jot down, get out a bit of paper and jot down a couple of things about how your life would be different if you had a strong sense of self-worth. What would you actually do differently? Because it's a really interesting, insightful thing to do. So number 5 is to take inspired action. So what you move towards moves towards you. When we're taking appropriate inspired action, when I say inspired action, it's action that lifts you up. If you're taking action that you're resenting, that drags you down, that feels horrible, then that's not going to put you into a good vibration to manifest the money. So if there are things that you know that you need to do, or that you feel like you really want to do that you don't enjoy doing at all, in terms of taking the action to get some more money coming in, then it's important that you do it with a positive attitude and a light heart. So that's why I've said take inspired action. The universe will reward you for taking action, any action. Even if you can't think what it could possibly be that you need to do, just find something. And if you need a coaching session with me to explore what it is that you most need to do next, then send me a message and we can set that up, because I'm really good at helping people with that, because a lot of people are blocked because of fear, because things haven't worked in the past, and we can certainly unpack that. Get you really clear on the next steps. So when it comes to money, it's a very complex phenomenon and it has a lot of emotional charge. So we have all this old programming, all this 3D programming in our brains, and that comes from the media, it comes from what our parents taught us as we were growing up. And it's really important for us to be able to turn those around and install new belief systems moving forward. So when we look at the media, if you watch the news, if you take note, and I don't recommend that you do watch the news because it's just so negative, it just has a very lack mentality point of view, you'll see that there's a culture of there never being enough. So, they'll focus on a manufacturing plant where 400 jobs were lost, and they'll cover that for a week at a time, or they'll talk about other job losses in Australia. But in actual fact, if you look at the statistics month by month, you'll find that there are actually more jobs being created than there are being lost in any one given month, in Melbourne anyway, when I look them up. So, but they don't talk about that. They don't talk about where the jobs are being created, or if they do, it's very rare. So, there's this very much, we're being bombarded by all the advertising telling us, you'll be happy if you drink Coke, you'll be happy if you've got these latest jeans, you'll be fitter and healthier if you buy my latest fitness machine. And so there's always this constant bombardment of you need to buy more, there's not enough, you're not enough, so you need to have more, buy more, etc. There's also a lot of people have a victim mentality, so they feel really dependent on the economy or on the government and what the government is doing in order for them to have their own personal wealth. And what I would say to you about that is that each individual's personal wealth has very little to do with the economy and the government. It does only if you believe that it does. So that's something really important to think about. And then there's the generational programming and things that we've learned, not just from our own parents, but things that go back into our ancestors and are actually into our DNA. And, one of the most favourite sayings that I heard, probably not from my parents specifically, but just in general, is that money is the root of all evil. And, money doesn't grow on trees. Stop asking because, the answer is going to be no. So there are all these sort of belief systems around money that don't really facilitate us attracting more. And I really encourage you to do something to become aware of those. So it's time to walk a new path and to step into your true power and to be who you want to be. We all need to individually take our own power back instead of feeling all tied up and powerless like the cards said. So I'd like to just share with you, take a couple of minutes to share with you my 28-day email program, which is called Money Mindset Makeover. It's about embracing a new money paradigm and changing your vibration around money. So the course consists of 28 days of emails designed to transform your relationship with money. So each email will have a little activity for you to do, and it will help create some personal insights and transform your own personal beliefs around money. So step by step, you'll learn how to reset your money beliefs so that you can attract more abundance, and it will shift your personal paradigm forever. So it will set you up for the future. So what are you ready to celebrate in life? So it's time for us to be doing a lot more celebrating and a lot less complaining, I guess, and feeling low and feeling down in the dumps and feeling like we're not getting anywhere, and we need to do a lot more celebrating. So what's included in the Money Mindset Makeover? I've created 3 levels of the program to allow, to make it accessible to everyone, basically. So the silver plan is the 28 days of emails, where you'll get an email every day. In the emails as well, I share all my best resources about money and manifesting money, my favourite books and online resources. You'll also receive a guided meditation that I have created, which is to help you to imagine what it is that you want and bring it into reality. We think about that real card, that what's in your imagination is as real as what's here and now. So the goal plan includes obviously what's in the silver plan, but it also includes membership to a private Facebook group where we'll be sharing each day. I'll be in there every day, and people will be sharing sort of their insights and ask questions as we go, and to just keep everyone on track. The gold plan also includes 2 live Q&A group calls with me. So I'll be on for an hour or so, and we can talk about what we've learned over the last couple of weeks, and how is everyone going, and answering any of your questions. And then the platinum plan, which is limited to 5 people, is all of that plus 3 one-on-one coaching calls with me that go for about 45 minutes, where we can really dig down and unpack your stuff as you're going, and get down to what's relevant for you and what your next steps are and where you need to change. So that's what's included. So recently I got this testimonial from Gary, who has done a lot of personal development, and he said the Money Mindset Makeover prompted a significant shift in my consciousness around money. Having known Steph for some time and knowing her passion in helping others overcome their limiting beliefs, I signed up to her money program with high expectations. I was not disappointed. Over the months working together, Money Mindset Makeover made me aware of my subconscious beliefs around money, and more importantly, how to overcome them. It's been 6 months since I've completed the course, and having done so many programs in the past, it's the only course I can honestly say I come back to regularly and review. As a result, I've come up with an innovative idea that could potentially earn me a lot of money. I've been following this idea through, and in the past I would have given up on it by now, and I've got a solid belief that it's going to work. Thank you, Steph, for delivering such a powerful program. And on the webpage as well, there's some more testimonials if you want to go over there and have a look. So the webpage for the program is stephaniekakris.com/money. And I know that some of you watching this and some of you on the call have completed the Money Mindset Makeover course before. And for those of you who have completed the course before, I'm going to offer you the gold program for just $97. If you'd like to resit it again and refresh all those learnings. And, I think every time that we do a course, we get something at another level. And it just, I think as we grow and change, I know if I pick up a book, or if I, watch some teachings maybe that I've seen before, I always get something different out of it each time, because I'm at a different place myself. So for those that book by midnight tonight, you'll go into the draw to win a set of Oracle cards by Julie Lewin, which were the energy oracle cards that I used, not the energy one, sorry, the Arakira oracle cards that I used in the card reading, and they're amazing. They've just got such high vibrational energy, and yeah, I'd love to give a couple of those away for anyone who books by tonight. So the course is starting on Monday the 10th of July, so not this coming Monday but the following Monday. And yeah, I'd love for some of you to come on and enjoy that. So for now, I just want to say thank you for listening and allowing me to share my wisdom with you. If anyone has any questions that they want to type into the chat box, I'll be very open to answering them. I'll just pop that slide up again with the money. Yep. Okay. So when will the online training be during the course? I will be doing those most likely at night. I will actually ask the people who are on the course when would be their preferred time to do the Q&A online live calls with me during the course. So I haven't actually set the dates and times for that because it'll be the majority of, what suits the majority of people there. Thanks for that. Okay, fantastic. No more questions. Well, if you've got any questions, if anything comes up over the next couple of days and you'd like to send me an email or a message, then please do so. And I look forward to hearing from anyone who watches the recording and to starting the course in a week and a bit, in 10 days or so. So thank you so much for your attention and really appreciate you being on. Good afternoon, and we'll catch you again next time. Bye for now.